Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about Aristotle's views on dramatic unities. As you all must be familiar with that whenever there is any discussion about any ideal play, any perfect play, the classicism demands three dramatic unities. They are named the unity of action, the unity of time, and the unity of place. And it has moreover been the habit within the classical criticism to ascribe to Aristotle this demand of three unities as being essential to drama. And these three unities have since the Renaissance been considered to be necessary to create credibility, reliability in a play. And furthermore, the neoclassical period made these three unities into a rigid rule to be observed in playwriting. But in the later on, lots of flexibility has been incorporated within the concept of the use or the application of these unities in a play. And today we'll talk about these three unities with reference to Aristotle's Poetics. So let's see what exactly these unities mean. Students, the unity of action is a fundamental requirement of tragedy. And as we have seen in our previous discussions on plot and on the basic elements of a tragedy, where tragedy is defined as imitation of an action. And while talking about that action, Aristotle has made it very clear that that action must have an artistic unity. It must be free of any irrelevances. So we can say that unity is a principle of limit without which an object loses itself in the region of undefined, indeterminate, or the accidental. And the action of the tragedy, according to Aristotle, must be a complete whole. It must have organic unity. So it is significant that Aristotle compares the plot to a living organism. In a living organism, each part is related to the other and also to the whole. So too, in tragedy, every event or incident should be connected properly. There should be no superfluity. There should be no irrelevance. And the connection should be achieved in such a manner that the removal or the disturbance of any part will disturb the harmony of the whole. So the very fact here that is to be noticed and that is to be pointed, keep in mind that Aristotle compares the plot to a living creature, and it shows that he is not speaking in favor of some dead or mechanical kind of unity. The organic unity which Aristotle speaks of, it allows the role of vitality. It allows freedom of creation for an artist. So it also shows that Aristotle's concept of unity did not tend towards uniformity. That is to say that in a tragedy there are a number of incidents and events or episodes, but these events or incidents are pieced together, not just pieced together. They are not mechanically put together, but they are united vitally. And how they are vitally? Because they are related as cause and effect. There are these variety of episodes in a tragedy are given unity through two ways. Firstly, and there is a causal connection. They are related as cause and effect, and that causal connection binds together the several parts of the play. And secondly, the whole series of events, the whole set of incidents is directed to a single end. The action progresses and converges on a definite point, the catastrophe. And moreover, in the very definition of the tragedy, Aristotle has made it clear that the plot should be a whole. a complete whole, and this complete whole also emphasizes that unity of action. And a complete action means it should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And a beginning is that which does not itself follow anything by casual necessity, but after which something naturally is true or comes to be. And an and, on the contrary, is that which itself naturally follows some other thing, either by necessity or as a rule, but has nothing following it. And in middle is that which follows something as some other thing follows it. So it has been argued that Aristotle just favored or just emphasized that the organic unity of plot lies in the unity of action. And just because of his emphasis on the unity of action or the unity of the plot, Aristotle was totally against episodic plots. He condemned these plots because he felt that these in episodic plot, what will happen, that the episodes will not be casually related and there is not a sense of probability or necessity about them. And when we talk about Aristotle's condemnation of the episodic plot, here one argument which is there in the contemporary, in the modern literary critical circle, that Aristotle is not in favor of dramatic relief, which is introduced in the tragedies in Elizabethan period. So actually the insistence on the unity of action implies disapproval of the mingling of two actions directed towards different ends, and Aristotle rules out there being more than one action in a play. He is not in the favor of introducing the subplot, and he is not in the favor of the double ending, in which there is a tragic end for some and a happy end for some. Tragedy and comedy as dramas involve different ends, and their actions in being directed towards those ends are not similar to each other. Thus, if comic aspects are introduced into tragedy, there is a mingling of action, and this would lead to the disturbance of the unity of action, its completeness and wholeness. So according to Aristotle, plurality of action tends to weaken the tragic action. And the purpose of the tragedy, as we have seen in our discussion on catharsis, the purpose of tragedy is to arouse pity and fear. And the plurality of the action would defeat this very purpose, and it would distract the attention. It will disturb the concentration of the action. So Aristotle was not in favor of any episodic plot or any double ending. Next comes the unity. Aristotle has emphasized the unity of action, and as far as the unity of time is concerned, if we look at Poetics for the reference to this very unity, we find that Aristotle gave a tentative view on the length of a tragedy in Poetics. I just quote from the English translation of Poetics that I quote, "Tragedy endeavors as far as possible to confine itself to a single revolution of the sun." Students, make a note of it. As far as possible to confine itself to a single revolution of the sun, or but slightly to exceed this limit. Unquote. So the very nature of the statement indicates that it is in the nature of an observation on the basis of the tragedies which Aristotle read or which were written during his times. Furthermore, it is also clear from this very statement where Aristotle is saying that as far as possible means he is not stating a rigid rule or principle. And so we can say that this statement in Poetics, this short statement in Poetics is just sufficient enough to make it clear that unity of time limits the supposed action to the duration roughly of a single day. without any rigidity, and it should take place in a short internal chronology, ideally no more than 24 hours, but it can exceed up to 24 hours. Aristotle has just laid upon the use of unity of action as a rigid principle for tragedy, but as far as unity of time is concerned, he was flexible. And the third one is unity of place. And what does this unity of place mean? It means that the action should take place in a minimal number of locations, ideally just one. But if we look at poetics very closely, we find that Aristotle did not mention the unity of place directly at all. He has made some passing remarks, we can say, the part of the poetics where he has compared epic and tragedy. And one more important thing which comes into mind, that his idea or his concept was based on his observation of the contemporary tragedies. So at that time it was not possible to move the 15 players or actors from one place to another place, and just to save time and energy for moving from one place to another, those playwright has introduced the concept of chorus. So chorus is there in classical tragedies to comment upon the events which are not possible to be dramatized, which are not possible to be presented on the stage. So the role of the chorus was important in those very classical Greek tragedies. And to conclude, we can say that the only dramatic unity stressed upon by Aristotle was that of action, and this has more or less been justified by general practice till today. And if we say that if we talk about three unities, we feel that the unity of action is no doubt is the basic principle, and the unity of time and place, they are superfluous, and their non-observance would not seriously affect the dramatic effect. And indeed we can say that the unity of action is the basic Aristotelian principle which is observed till today in the perfect place or in the ideal place, as far as the structure of a play is concerned, and the other two unities are not considered to be so important. So this is all about the three dramatic unities and Aristotle's views on dramatic unities. Thank you.